It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. With me are my ladies. YK in the building! Your first time?
My first time.
Happy
I
New
was
Year.
walking around like someone was saying, it's gone like this. To drive here.
Yeah,
I was following one car.
Oh, okay.
And the car turned.
No, then the car says, follow me. I said, but the sign is saying that way. He said, no, let's go. I said, no, I will follow the sign.
Take me somewhere that I don't know.
When they carry to the Atlantic.
How you doing, YK? Good to have you. Happy New Year.
Well, it's good to be back. I had a very, very dirty
You and
December.
Amaka both. Only you and Amaka dirty this December.
In fact, I've never had it so dirty.
Oh my God, what did you do? What crimes did
Every
you commit?
single day. There was one event, sometimes 2, 3 in one day.
Wow.
I am totally
Dirty.
exhausted.
Yeah.
You are
I'm
dirty.
exhausted. You know, I wanted to take sleeping tablets on Wednesday and sleep till Sunday.
What?
It still wasn't possible.
Oh,
How many days?
I wanted to sleep for 5 days because
you needed that rest.
I needed
Wow,
the
that's
rest.
good. I'm happy. See, this Dirty December has become a brand. It's becoming a global brand because
Yeah.
Nigerians all over the world are talking
No, I
about
think
it.
it's bad. It's too
and
much.
they are, it's now a thing. People can actually start targeting their
It's
marketing.
now an economy.
It's not it's actually a thing. So people are now building their businesses around Dirty
it.
December. That's fantastic. I mean, that's Nigeria for you. You know, some good things come out of this. But good to have you back.
I'm glad to be back.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be
How
back.
was the concert on Sunday?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. Antonio Joshua came. It was so nice. It was so nice. Burna Boy's sister, what's her name?
Okay.
I forgot
How would we
her
know?
name.
You know her
She
name
was
was
there.
Burna Boy's sister.
Odumegu Black was there. He even performed
Oh.
after everybody. You
That's
know, it was,
fantastic.
it
Well
was
done.
very,
Well
very
done for
nice.
keeping that flame alive.
Very
You guys
nice,
doing an
very
amazing job. The
nice.
entire family. You guys are keeping that legacy.
Yes, and my mom's book is coming out next week.
Your mom.
Yes.
My mom.
Yes, I saw
She
has a
wrote a
book.
book before she
wrote
passed.
She and her
And
daughter
we've
published that.
held it for so long because people kept taking and not returning.
Except, okay.
So we didn't have, then my cousins came and said, look, let's do this. So
Okay, fantastic.
Published.
Let me come to Nima. How you doing? Akasha Zabere.
Fine. Our friend of the house, Engineer Tijani, today is his birthday.
Yay! Happy birthday, Engineer Tijani. God bless you.
AI teacher.
And yesterday we had a baby girl.
Hey,
I want to say
congratulations.
Thank you to the
Who is we?
management, the MD. Okay, my husband's manager and his wife. I was at the hospital throughout yesterday, but for good care, you know, in
Your
Lagos
husband's
State.
manager
Yeah.
in his office.
Yes, in his business.
Okay.
So the maternal
his
and
business.
child's hospital first stack, Amuwo, that's how
Okay,
it's called.
okay.
Thank you so much to the entire team, doctors, nurses, attendants, staff, cleaners, everybody. Thank you so much. Special thanks to Dr. Laito.
Oh, nice. Hello, Mariam. I love your top. You look
Thank you.
amazing.
Oh,
Very
thank
girly,
you.
as always.
Pink.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. So, see, I have to just you people this very funny thing. My daughter yesterday, she took out my wallet and she took some notes out and she was counting it over and over again. Then she just looked at me. She said, "Mommy, I just love counting notes. It relaxes. Counting money, it relaxes me." I said, "We're in trouble today." I said, "Very
Mix
good.
of us.
It makes many of us, but it means you need to work hard for this money." This is
No, soft life. These children, this generation.
I was shocked.
it's
At her
soft life.
age,
They
at
don't have
10,
to
all
work
I
hard.
thought
Yeah.
about money was in relation to
relaxes me.
snacks. She's thinking of how it relaxes her. But there's this thing that happens to me. I don't know if it happens to any one of you. These biometric devices that you use where you have to put your fingers.
Right.
It has never worked for me.
Really?
There has never been any of those machines that can pick my fingerprints.
You have to press it down or what?
No matter what I do, use powder, use sanitizer, dry it, you know.
you're a spirit.
I don't understand.
She's a
And
spirit,
last
returning
time,
spirit.
the last time I was at GT Bank, I was there for nearly an hour. They had to use that camera. There was something I also had to do at MTN. The same thing. There was
You're a
one
spirit.
time at immigration too. It took forever, you know, finally. So I'm like, is
You're
there
unique.
something about,
Yeah, something
told
is
you,
nobody
maybe you're a
else?
I don't know.
spirit.
That's never experienced it. Maybe you're experienced in
Somebody
real
said it means you can rob a bank and nobody will ever catch it.
Hey, you tell you know
You
something.
have problems when you are going through immigration.
No,
in
they
England
also
and-
have the camera that they put
Yes,
right to your face. So they're like, just tell them from the get-go that they shouldn't bother with the fingerprints and just.
Alrighty, that's all
So,
we can.
Mariah, how are you?
I'm fine,
tell us,
Waike.
tell
I'm
us,
cold.
tell us.
That much I can tell you.
Oh, it's
It's
freezing.
cold. This place is
I
freezing.
need
Very.
another cup right now.
It
cold.
is freezing. See, do you see how I'm sitting
I know
down?
you can wear this kind of shimmy something.
You know
I don't
that.
understand why keep.
This is my first time here now.
Yeah.
I just got back.
Yeah, I got yeah.
I
IJB.
just got. I
Just got in.
Oh my.
Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we look at the front pages of the papers. If I can find the papers, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So I need small sky.
Waike, we start with the show.
Waike is back.
Let's start with the nation.
December spirit.
Tinubu to world leaders, change your negative view about Africa. Oil prices surge over supply disruption. ICPC arraigns El Rufai's chief of staff for alleged money laundering. Court reserves ruling in Oni's ex-queen Hamzat and bail options. French Malian Chile takes over as Super Eagles coach. Or cult killings, 19 arrested, 573,000 applicants gunning for the 3,927 customs job. Okay, let's start now. Which story are we going with?
Let's just start with the
Nation.
Major.
You know, the Oyo Stampede.
Okay.
Justice K.B. Olawoyin was the one who presided over the matter yesterday at the Oyo State High Court, and he has adjourned to, he has fixed January 13th to deliver ruling on their bail application. So, Olori, or former Olori, Naomi, the former wife of the Oni, Alhaji Oriyomi Hamzat, and Abdullahi Fasasi, who is the principal of the Islamic High School, Bashoru Ibadan, were both have been held, detained since the stampede by the court. So their lawyers brought their application for bail, and the court has fixed January 13th, and I'm doing the maths. Hopefully a few days they will be, granted freedom. They've been there since that stampede happened in December, and they spent their entire dirty December period in the
Really sad.
It's
detention.
really sad. Really,
This is
really
a
sad.
very sad one because they are, yes, they organized and
Yes,
and
the tension was
advertised.
noble.
Yes,
Mm.
and
What
it was,
should we
and they
down?
didn't. What should we down on it? They didn't bring this. They didn't,
See
plan for this to
yeah,
happen.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Really sad.
I have the customs recruitment. They say that barely a week after the portal of the Nigerian Customs Service was opened for its 2024-2025 recruitment, not less than 5,073 yes not less than 573,500 and something's happening to me today.
Just go one.
519 job seekers have applied for jobs into the service. So they said that the portal, government had approved 3,927 officers for the customs job, but the number of people is just, nearly, too many. Over 10 times more than what is available for, and they're breaking down the categories for the people that have applied. They said they have two categories of officers. We have the support staff members that are professionals, and we have the general duty. For general duty, they said there are three categories for ranks. General duty under Superintendent Cadre have 249,218 candidates that applied. Then the Superintendent Cadre's support staff cadre, they have 27,722 with HNDs and university degrees. Then there's the inspector cadres, that's for those with NCE and national diploma. That one, they have over 115,000 applying for that as well. And then they also have 12,952 applicants. It just shows that there are a limited number of jobs and there's so many applicants. The story is I hope it's not that there's going to be that interview. Those cases where they go for interviews, there's stampede, especially in this, revelation where we see what happens. Please, going forward, let them just keep everything maybe online and then invite only those that they have spaces for.
All right.
So the Nigerian Football Association, The
Hey.
Nigerian,
You see, don't catch you.
the Nigerian Football Federation has formally announced the appointment of erstwhile coach of Mali, that he's now the Eagles coach, Eric Sekou Shell, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, as head coach of the Nigerian senior men's national team. He used to coach the Malian team. He even carried them up to almost the finals in the last African Cup of Nations. It's the semi-finals, and he's now going to be heading our team, and they're hoping that he's going to give us a place for the World Cup.
Okay, so oil prices, according to international reports, oil prices surge over supply disruption induced by the Russian and Iranian supply and the face of the escalating Western sanctions. According to the report, Brent crude futures advanced 60 cents, and it also sold for $76.90
It's around.
a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was up 50 cents. So the federal government's oil prices also benchmarked the 2025 budget, estimates about $75 per barrel. It seems market participants have started to price in some small supply disruptions risk on Iranian crude exports to China, said the UBS analyst Giovanni Stovono. So that's just pricing, international pricing. In a nutshell, international prices of oil is getting up. Moving on now to the Punch bandit influx. Task force meets as Amotekun police tighten southwest boundaries. Tinubu calls for Africa's unity. Obasanjo Zuma attend Mahama's inauguration. Romance scam. 2 US-based Nigerians face 40-year jail term. Stampede. Oni's ex-queen orders alleged illegal detention. Oyo opposes bail. PDP differs as Okpebolo accuses local government chairman of $12 billion diversion. 12 billion naira diversion. Forex. Food crisis likely as northern farmers opt for export. Forex allocations for fuel imports rise to $1.25 billion. Threat to life, Atiku LP carpets Tinubu, APC lampoons Obi. Okay, which story?
I have the Forex story. So according to this Punch report, the average cost of basic food item in Nigeria may reach an unprecedented level of price surge in the coming months. And this is not good news. They said that in the midst of the challenging economy, this is of course going to worsen things. They said this projection is based on decisions by farmers in the northern part of the country to export their bumper harvest to neighboring countries in exchange for foreign currency while neglecting local demand as the dry season approaches. You can already start feeling the heat outside. So while farmers in Kaduna and Kwara are complaining of poor harvests and caused by drought and diversion of farm inputs by politicians, their counterparts in Jigawa, Kano, Yobe confirmed that they had bumper harvests, of crops including millet, sorghum, beans, maize, but they said, a significant portion of this produce were exported to countries including Niger Republic, Cameroon, Chad, Ghana, and even as far as Asia and Europe for higher price. So I can understand Asia, Europe, but except the currencies in our country compared to our neighboring countries is bad. The price of food, of course, is a major driver of our economy and was pegged recently. The inflation for food was pegged at 34.60% in November 2024, and it continues to go up. So we don't need this right now, but I don't know whether I should be pleading economic empowerment to farmers or I should be pleading, patriotism to farmers, but we beg.
All right, so our president was in Ghana, so President Tinubu has called on African leaders to prioritize unity and dialogue as the foundation for the continent's progress. He spoke on Tuesday in Accra during the inauguration of the new president, John Mahama. Apart from Tinubu, other notable African figures were all in attendance. Ex-Nigerian presidents like Olusegun Obasanjo, Goodluck Jonathan. Also, Rwandan president was there, Paul Kagame, and ex-Southern African president Jacob Zuma. Tinubu, in his speech, also hailed Ghana's democratic transition as a symbol of Africa's potential for collaboration and resilience. Furthermore, he addressed the audience of the regional leaders and dignitaries He urged leaders to set aside differences and work together for the collective good of the continent, underscoring the dialogue as a key to answering and resolving disagreements. Okay, let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. Waki, I'm sure you have a story after gossiping about me. Please, take your story in Punch.
You're very wicked.
Take your story.
Should I take it?
Yeah, go ahead. You take your own.
No, it's Waki that is taking it.
No, you have a different point
I
too.
was just shocking.
Okay. So two
Nigerian
Nigerian,
is throwing me shade. You know, terrible.
two Nigerian nationals, Olutayo Sunday Ogunlaja, 39, and Abel Adeyi Daramola, 37, each face up to 20 years in a United States prison. They've been convicted by a federal jury for orchestrating a $560,000 romance scam. They said that they had created a profile on this dating app called Glenn Brown, a fake profile, and they created a fake identity, Glenn Brown, on a dating website called eharmony.com, and established a romantic relationship with a victim in Albuquerque in New Mexico, along with other defendants. They said they obtained $560,000 in totality from this victim. They made him to believe that they were building, or this person was building a property in Malaysia, and he was constantly sending money to them. The very first one he sent was in 2017, when he sent them $280,000. I'm like, $28,000. I'm like, this love is really strong across borders. You've never met. You just know a profile, and you're able to send them $28,000 in the beginning. Anyway, everything amounted to $560,000. And they have been yes, in dollars. I've been saying thousand, yes, in $1,000. Anyway, two of them have now been convicted, 20 years each.
No, I think they haven't given them the judges is about to
Okay,
sentence
they said
them.
they may face.
Okay, any other story in Punch? We'll move on now to Daily Sun. Atiku LP activists condemn threat against Peter Obi. Court stops attempt to scuttle Ohaneze election. Nigeria needs $60 billion foreign reserves to tackle inflation, says report. Insecurity, Southwest governors must be vigilant over influx of fleeing bandits, says Gani Adams. PDP apologizes over assault on the Sun correspondent. On professional conduct, Abia CP deranks. Corporal disbands commands anti-cultism suit. And unit police arrest 19 suspects over our cult clash. Okay?
I have that story. So according to the Sun, the Daily Sun, the newly deployed Commissioner of Police in Ondo State, Mr. Wilfred Afolabi, congratulations, sir, disclosed yesterday while briefing newsmen as he resumed as the 45th Ondo CP. He said that the Owo clash had 4 people who died during the cult clash, and they've been able to arrest 19 suspects. The governor had earlier declared a dawn-to-door curfew over the violent clash and the disturbances in the area. And they said those who have been arrested will face the full wrath of the law. While in Owo this morning to monitor the level of compliance with the curfew imposed on the town by the state government. So far, so good. Normalcy has returned to the town, and there's calm and peace. But you see those 19, they're in our custody, and we have only 4 people confirmed dead in our records. But those for 19, their eye will see something. I hope that they are giving their fair hearing, so we're sure that they're not just passerby.
In that story,
Yes, I do. Zamfara, they say no fewer than 46 people, including women and children, were reportedly kidnapped during a raid in Ghana town in Zamfara State. They said the attack occurred at around 10 p.m. on Sunday. Dozens of gunmen on motorbikes reportedly attacked the town while shooting sporadically, setting fire to several homes and businesses. This is a month after 43 persons were reportedly abducted by gunmen in Kaikidawa, Gidongoga district in the same state. They are saying that the government now conducted house-to-house search, abducting women and children who are unable to escape. There has been a spike in the spate of kidnapping for ransom in Nigeria, as you know, in the northern part of Nigeria. And last month, troops reportedly killed several terrorists in Safi local government area of Zamfara, and the operation targeted several terrorist hideouts. And remember, I think one of the first stories we read this year was the arrest of one of the major kingpins, and you know that they're still, well, they've birthed a whole following of terrorists and kidnappers, and they've gone again and done this on Sunday. This is sad, and we just hope they're able to rescue these victims and bring sanity back to our country.
Okay, so the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò yesterday had spoken to southwestern governors. I've told them to strengthen the security architecture within their region, saying because over the influx of the bandits that fled the military operations in the northwest. He has spoken to all the governors, said that just this morning at the security briefing, we do have a special operation going on right now. Quite a number of bad people from the majorly northwestern zone getting the heat from that region are coming downwards. So because of the stampede last year, I went to Fashola's farm settlement just to lie low for my birthday, and I can tell you that within less than maybe 1.5 kilometers of where I was sleeping, bandits had already taken over that camp. So in a nutshell, he was trying to just say that all the various governors within the southwestern state must take charge of their region, and they must be vigilant and put in place proper structures to strengthen the security within that region because of those people who are coming in from that region. Okay, moving on now.
I was going to take the assault on the Sun correspondent.
Okay.
So the PDP has tendered an apology to the media over the assault of Mr. Ndubisi Oji. Apparently, the court had upheld the judgment on the sacking of Senator Samuel Anyanwu as the PDP National Secretary. So when the press went there, they said the secretary turned him back. So the son go into his car. Then this guy, what's his name, Okoronko, an aide to Anyanwu, rushed to him, slapped him, and damaged his mobile phone in the process. But however, Ologun Agba has said they're sorry, that they don't tolerate this kind of violence, and so hopefully it will end there.
Vanguard, final paper for this morning. How lack of power, water jeopardize health sector. Over 7 million registered electricity customers yet to be metered, says NERC. No state has excuse not to pay 70,000 naira minimum wage, says NECA. Tinubu approves allowances, bulletproof SUVs for retired generals. How corruption allegation led to suspension of LG local government chairman, says Okwebulu. Government abduct 46 in Zamfara community. Obi, Atiku Labour Party blast APC. Livestock development, headers can't afford branches. And finally, Nigeria at moderate risk of human metapneumovirus, says NCDC. Okay, story.
So I have the 7 million, the next story. So the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has confirmed that 7.1 million Nigerians have not been metered. Out of the 13.3 million registered across the nation, only 6.1 million have been registered. So the 7.1 million are 53.8% of our electricity consumers, while the 6.1 are just 46.15% of the customers within the discos. So they gave detail of performing discos and details of those with the highest complaints, and it shocked me that Disco has the highest complaints. You know, because they are performing well, I'm enjoying them. I don't know how I want to take the story, but Ikeja Disco has the highest metered. Is one of those already with the highest meters. Abuja is leading. Ikeja, Ibadan have really gone ahead to meter their people. So I think the recognition is important for those that are well performing, and I hope
Okay.
the other discos are pushed to
All
do
right.
the same.
Any other
to
story?
perform
Vanguard?
better.
Well, I took I'll just gloss over it. Nigeria is at moderate risk of the human metapneumovirus. They said, I think you spoke about it yesterday.
Yeah.
It attacks they're saying that we have strengthened our borders, that everybody is placed on high alert, so we are not in the high risk.
Okay.
Which I hope,
In the name of God, we are not. So-
I hope so. I really pray so,
I pray
because
so.
after that
Ebola first, then Koro really.
no, Ebola, we were very sharp with Ebola.
Yeah, we
I have to
were.
say that.
Yeah.
We were. No,
It took a sacrifices
of individuals.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it could have
Life
gotten really, really
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, we could have. But
We
I
tried-
wanted,
we tried
we didn't
for
get to
the-
Tribune more.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
yesterday, Ramato had taken the story of the ex-military chiefs and all the lodges they'll be going home with. It's sad to see this story in the Tribune, that retired military pensioners had to barricade the Federal Ministry of Finance yesterday in Abuja, and they've been there for less than 2 months after they staged the initial action. They are asking that their pensions be paid. The retired pensioners set up a canopy at the gate of the Federal Ministry of Finance, and in November, the Minister for Finance, Wale Edun, had assured the military pensioners that their outstanding arrears will be settled, but sadly it has not, and we're still proposing. The protesters, one of the protesters, Azubike Nas, a retired colonel, said the federal government failed to keep to his words, but acknowledged the payment of 50% of arrears in November. Last time we came, we were demanding payment of the arrears. Eventually, we were assured of 50%, that 50% will be paid and the rest will be paid in December. That was what the minister said, and the pension board chairman confirmed that the money has been remitted to him, and we were dispersed. We started getting alert that evening. When December payment came, the balance wasn't there. The month ended, it wasn't there. Our leadership tried to find out the reason for the delay, but no cogent reason. And I'm just saying that there should be balance.
Yes.
Because this one's not
Yeah,
going to get,
so-
this one cannot get taxi, talk less of bulletproof car. So let them just get their
I
arrears.
mean, they are doing so much for the
They are the ones on the field.
generals. And then police will come.
That one
That
is
is
a
all we
full
can
topic.
take on front page review.
It's a full
When we
topic.
come back, we have our special feature for today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. I need to remind YK, this is not the K2 studio. This is Island Studio. So please, you need to be ready. You're always talking. When the show is starting, you're conversing.
She was
Please.
the one talking. Did
Yeah,
you see that she was the one
but
talking?
Like, you know what,
the
I'm
camera was
counting it
already
for-
on you.
Count it for
The
her.
camera is
Because
counting
I said what I have to say. They just
No, she's done
You are
one
still in
newspaper review.
the K2. We are in the island now. Please,
Yes.
YK. Be like the islandish. Anyways, it's Wednesday on Your View, and there is this story that caught our attention, where a man who, according to him, has been a active stepfather in the life of his girlfriend's daughter for over 10 years. Now, according to he who wants to know about what to do, pulling out or financially from his stepdaughter's wedding. Anyways, the story is this man has been in this girlfriend's daughter's life for 10 years. Now, she was about to plan her wedding, and for whatever reason, her real father, her biological father, came into the picture, and he was therefore invited to walk her down the aisle. Of course, this man, who is not her stepfather yet, because he's not yet married to her mother, he's lamenting because obviously he was financially stable enough to fund most of the wedding and all the planning, because wedding takes hall, catering, decoration, the whole work. So he's done all that with his own money. So he's thinking to himself that if you cannot honor me to walk you down the aisle, would you rather invite your biological father, who has not been part of your growing up at all in any way. He has not paid anything for you. But because you just feel that it's right for him to be the one to walk you down the aisle, you then invite him. So he then said he was going to pull out of that, that wedding planning. Now, that is the story we saw. However, in reality, this has happened a few times in our own country too, where a man, in fact, this one is only girlfriend, a man has married the woman, because here we don't do girlfriend thing like that. So he's married the woman, and the father has been away, never participated in raising that child. It's a deadbeat father, or it was AWOL. And suddenly, because in our culture, the honorable thing is no matter what, a child will go and find their father for that day. So culturally, family is telling her, go and look for your father. And she's thinking, oh, that's true, my father should walk me down there. So you feel that that final thing of walking down the aisle must be done by your biological father. And then your father, who has raised you as his own, feels neglected. Now, the question for the ladies is, who is wrong? Should the stepfather feel bad because culturally, because we should respect culture and tradition, culturally that day really belongs to the biological father? Or do you think things should begin to change where fatherhood shouldn't be about your biological input, but more of your financial, economic, and social raising of a child? What do you think it should be? That's the conversation today. You can join us 09024163440. You can also send us messages on X, also on YouTube. We'll be happy to read your messages. Yeah, who'd like to go first? Okay. Nima?
So this relationship, I saw the video and it was really heartbreaking. For me, the parties, the girlfriend, her daughter, and the deadbeat absentee father are such users. They stepped out, they want to use this man for their benefit. They never deposited any kind of emotion in that relationship. And 10 years is too long for a man to be waking up to find out. They pain. You know, I can understand why he had to do the video. Because I don't understand. You are not around. And even at the time when he's finding out the father now has to come, there's still no commitment from the father except that he's my father and he has to come. There was a total disregard. So the video, the man said he had requested for a guest of an addition to a 250 guests. He will be hosting in his house because the wedding was happening in his house. To add 20 of his own friends and family members was a problem to them. So there's an extreme case of abuse and use of these people. See finish. There's not even see finish. They don't rate him from beginning. They just looked at it, okay, get money, we'll go use the money. You know, he's general. You know, some people like that, they'll blame him later. They'll come and say he gave from a place of scarcity. If you had to complain, they will have terms and all of those things. All these Englishes are so people don't reward. People don't reward. They don't reward sacrifice. Right. People no longer. We have different Oyibo. I've heard different Oyibo for these things, and they will be speaking it. They will making it make sense. People even use the same term to compare a parent's sacrifice, saying, yeah, you put your hope in your child when you grow old is because it's transactional. You want. I don't understand. Yeah. You're picking that you born, you know. Let me
come to the other ladies because, I mean, I know this case seems extreme.
It's extreme.
So there's no way you can look at it, it's extreme. But there are some cases where you kind of try to understand where the biological father was coming from. There are a few things. Number one, it could be that maybe for some reason he didn't know the woman was pregnant and he moved to a different country and he's been trying to relocate with her, and for someone, it wasn't his fault that he was an absentee. He really wanted to be back, but because the lady was hurt, she pushed him away and didn't allow him to be in his daughter's life. He's been trying to be a part of that girl's life. Maybe towards the time as she's getting adult, she went to go and look for her father, and then found him to be a really good man. And she found the story. Now, being torn between, okay, you left me not because you wanted to, but my mom actually intentionally didn't allow you to be in my life. This man raised me. In that situation, a young woman will feel kind of torn between, should I go with my biological father or should I go to the man who actually raised me? This has happened. This is a true story. As I said, this one is extreme. But here, in that situation, what would you say?
This is just as extreme because I feel, you know, when we're talking about a stepfather, yes, he's a stepfather, but many stepfathers have stepped up to the plate like no other. And especially if it's been in your life, minimum 10 years or more. Some of them will say, he married my mom when I was only 4 years old. This is the only father that I know. Then in your 30th year or 35th year or whatever, you find out about your father. I think you owe your stepfather a sit down, a conversation. And if this biological father you've just described is such an honorable person, even he may say, as much as I love you and I would like to do this for you, this is the person that has been with you all these years. Let's have a conversation with him. He must understand that if the stepfather allows me to do this, I'm grateful to him because this is his honor. This is what he should be getting for having been there for you all this time. The initial story we took and what we're saying here is really about how we respect each other. There's nothing wrong with sitting down with people and having a proper conversation. If for any reason the stepfather say, you know what, I understand what's happening here, and I would like as much as it will hurt me, it's okay if your biological father walks you down the aisle or he's part of this. But when you remove that person out of all your preparations and then he's blindsided by different decisions, that is so disrespectful.
But that's assuming the stepfather is a nice person and civilized. Because there's some stepfathers that can be very like, what? The fact that you don't even think about it in itself. Because there are some really arrogant people that don't even want to hear you to think about it because they expect that honor.
That's a scenario. But do you know there's another scenario? The father that never showed up to, that has all the entitlement and says, I'm her biological father. Who are you? How dare you? We've heard those stories. True. And then people are saying, but you've never been there. They say, but I'm her blood. Yes. I'm the one that is entitled to do this. So for me, it's just about who has been in that person's life and how much you respect him. If it was such a bad person, I mean, people have also denied their biological parents because of how toxic or how bad they were, to the point that it caused them so much, pain that they had to step away. Yeah. And so it's about the relationship itself that you have built. It's not really about the blood or no blood. Who stood there for you? Who was there when the days when you were ill and the person had to wake up all night, stay up all night with you.
You could have slept at one closed shop door.
Or you're going to school. Maybe even, in cases where maybe the stepfather who was in your life is not as wealthy as your biological dad, let's say. But even in his lack of means, he was making sacrifices for you.
Where do we put the place of culture and tradition? Let me tell you what, because there's a story which I've shared some years back of a woman who wanted to get married and family insisted. The man who raised her was there. Now, her father was actually dead beat. He was always getting drunk. The mother ran away from this man. They know where this man was. He's been there for 30 plus years, drunk. Family insisted that this is the man that must walk you down the aisle. They went to pick up that man from where that man was. Cleaned him up. Dressed him up for that walking down the aisle. They took him, walk your daughter down the aisle. After the wedding, they carried him back, they removed their clothes, carried him back and took him back to the bar where they found him. Because of tradition and culture. Yeah, now, the man who raised the woman felt slighted. But unfortunately, because in our own culture, he felt that, I can't say anything. He was hurt. But he just felt that, hey, that's what you guys decided, fine. But I know that. So where do we put the place of tradition and culture?
So tradition is not...
Let Waike jump in.
I think, we have to weigh both sides. Because I know a personal experience of someone who his stepfather brought him up, and okay, this case is not walking down the aisle, but when he was going to get married, he went to look for his father. Yeah. He heard a lot of stories from his father, his real father. The mother was supposed to have not told him, didn't tell him till he was 10 about the real father. Was and I was at the wedding, and the mother saw the real father. Hey, if you see the eye, she carried him and threw him down with that eye.
To shoot him.
Like, what are you doing here? But the son was like,
I want my father.
I want my father there. But the father had not done it. It was the stepfather that did everything. So, you have that filial bond with your parents. So sometimes that does not excuse you ignoring the person that spent money. I don't think it excuses.
But that is just good. We have another angle of that story. So that let me let Nima jump in here.
Okay, so I wanted to explain that culture does not mean ingratitude. You know, when families step in like that, my best friend had her father's people at her wedding. The father still could not show face because he did not acknowledge her birth. But while the parents were aging, the grandparents played their role. You know, they stepped in, don't mind him. She looks exactly like her grandmother from her father's side. So there's no denying. The woman used to come in to acknowledge, and then she passed. And then her grandmother, because they were passed. At the wedding, we saw this drama that you're describing here play out. So the mother's side, who had always raised that, they organized the wedding. They gave them one corner in the tent to play their cultural role. They sat them. Even those ones took mic and said, no matter what, people, we are happy to be here because we know that it should have gone a different way. So it does not mean ingratitude. If, for instance, the kind of example you gave, what they do in those kind of cases, they will bring the mother. In fact, there was an Ishekiri family, that one was drama. There were 3 boys. Their mother just left them when the last son was a baby, left them. And the father had to marry a woman who was childless. She raised them as if they were her own. She loved them to everything. They became men. And they wanted to do like a family event. And their mother was fighting for a chair. And say, mother, the boys told them, Mama, you see that corner they give you? If you pass that place, they will walk you away from this place. And they honored the woman that raised them. It doesn't mean ingratitude. Culture means that you just find a way to balance and integrate. But this one is outright. They are collecting the money like this and telling him who they will bring. The invitation sent out, he ignored every of his requests. Everything is wanting. It's only the money that they are just collecting. It doesn't balance things. Those ones you cancel. In culture, when it's required, you can go and inform your father's people that you're getting married. They will say, okay, take your husband there. The traditional rites will be done. If he wants to attend, he cannot be determining how the event will go when he's not putting money on ground. Even when a woman single-handedly raises her child, she will keep quiet for the traditional rites that involves family. That's if she volunteers, or if she's a cultural person, if she submits a hair, she will say, okay, you people should continue. And you know how some families can be embarrassing. They will ask for the head of the horse, the tail of the antelope, all those kind of irritating things.
You guys have not answered my question. In the Nigerian context, is it right for your biological father to be alive and another man who raised you to walk you down the aisle or to give you away?
It's not, and it's not about what is right.
Okay.
So if he has played his role, you cannot bring him because he's right. It's not right for him not to be there to upset someone you should be grateful to, who made sure you are alive.
But the one who raised you does not want...
Even him culturally must recognize that role. When they are even drinking, you know, at our weddings they will say, bring Shina, bring this. When he will acknowledge that
the
person.
man that raised you.
Yes, he must.
And to be fair, I don't
Our
know if it's
culture is
even a
not
Nigerian
supporting
culture for a man to walk, for your father to walk you down the aisle.
To give you out.
It's a Western culture. What I mean is your family, your father's family that gives you out, or the family that raised you that actually gives you out to your in-laws. So it's the father walking you down the aisle is really an Oyinbo thing. It's not what we do, because for us it's about family versus family. And I don't also think that our culture is so blind to, you know, the intricacies that happen within a family or what it took to raise a child, that they're so blind that they would take honor away from the person that deserves it and give it to another person just because the person is biological. What I've seen that has caused a lot of sentiments really is about money, where they feel the biological person who hasn't really been part of your life, but he has money, he has status, he has, you know, and it would be nice for the wedding. It would be nice for me so that my in-laws can see where I came from. I'm a family from this family, even though they have never recognized you or accepted you while you were growing up. But for this wedding, let me show them where I come from. You too want to insist. That's when you hear a mother saying, go to your father's family. These are your people. Because it's not really about her happiness and the person that has raised her. And I feel that that's something we need to dissuade people. Give honor to whom honor is due. And for me, it is not biological, but the person that's made the sacrifices for you while you were being raised.
So is that honorable lesson I want us to really take from this? Because the truth is that, yes, tradition is there, but sometimes you have to see things in a different perspective, in a more logical way, that, okay, this man is the only father. Because what is fatherhood? Aside from you're giving out the biological factor. Being a father is protection, is guidance, somebody who is there to raise you, to mold you. So if that person played that role, that final honor of being part of their wedding, but going to what Nima said and what Mariam said, it is the family. So your husband, your stepfather family is brown. your own biological family is white. Now, it is the white family that should be giving you away. Although brown family are part of you, they raised you. So the question is that, would you go and meet the brown family too? I want you to give me away because to honor your son who helped
Can
me.
I ask you this question? Because what if the biological father was there but did not have money? There was a song like that. He's broke, but he loved his daughter. He was there for his daughter, but he did not have money. But the stepfather had money, sent her to school, did everything. On the day that it was time for wedding, the mother said it's the stepfather who has
Because
provided that must walk her down the aisle. The biological father said, just because I don't have money doesn't mean that.
ìyàwó ọ̀lẹ ló máa ń gbà wọ̀ kí n gbọ́mọ ọ̀lẹ.
Meaning that
What does that mean?
So even if you can snatch my wife, you can snatch my girlfriend, you can't snatch my child, no matter whether I'm poor or rich. So, but it's the same father that must have deposited something. Why can finish? I'm just helping.
So let's not.
So, on the day of the wedding now, the friend threatened the stepfather, if you stand up, I will kill you.
The father's friend.
So the father walked out. But because it was the father that paid for the stepfather that paid for the wedding, had everything, they wanted the stepfather, you know.
But was the biological father a part of her life?
Yes, but
Okay.
he just didn't have money.
No, then that's wrong.
That's a
Okay, let me go on a very
That's
short
also
break. When we
about
come
money.
back, we'll open up
about
the phone
money.
lines and messages, get some our viewers involved. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So joining us is a professional master of ceremony, a senior trainer, and a budding entrepreneur at her own I think it's Talk Academy. Yeah. Talk Academy, yeah. With all these accomplishments under her belt, she's a force to reckon with. Through her passion for speaking, she has turned her skills into a profitable business, hosting events and training others in the field. Despite a degree in human anatomy, she has excellent skills in communication and event planning. These skills have enabled her to work with clients from multiple industries and high net worth individuals. Through her work, she hopes to inspire others to stay in their line and develop their passions and skills. We will be talking to her about passion and how she's managed to build her brand. But first, you're going to be joining us on the conversation. Welcome with us, Joyce Daniels in the building.
Glad to be here.
Good to
Thank
have
you
you.
so much. Thank
So
you.
you've been listening to what we're talking about,
Yes, I
this
joined at some point.
family dynamics of who should give away a bride, biological father or her stepfather. In the story that we referenced, the man is not her official stepfather because he's not married to her mother. But in the Nigerian context, there's usually the possibility where the woman has remarried. So there are different areas where she married a rich man or she married a poor man. Either way, the biological father was not the one that raised the daughter. And then when it comes to an adult, she wants to make an adult decision. Okay, I want my own father to be the one to walk me down the aisle or to give me away in marriage. In that regard, do you think we should uphold culture and tradition, meaning saying that it has to be a biological father, or should we understand and renew that notion, say, listen, whoever you choose to be your father should give you away in marriage?
Whoever you choose should give you away in marriage. He should also pay for the wedding. Full stop. Because I wouldn't have him give you away, but the other father is paying for it. That's the only issue I have with this particular situation. Pay for it, or
Exactly.
don't ask for
But he
more.
can't afford it, but he loves you. He can't afford it.
Yes, you might. You don't have to have a big wedding. You can have your daddy, your husband to be, and your mommy, 10 of you, 20 of you, in a room somewhere with a minister. It's still a wedding.
True.
You can do it at the rates that your father can afford if that's what you really want to honor him and for his love. That's fine. But don't tell me you have a 250 number of guest list and the person who is paying for it can't bring his own 20. These are the issues I have. As simple as that. Honor and love your daddy, please. Let him pay, or you pay with
Yes.
your man. and have all your parents.
Let's even assume that you can afford it. So now you are grown, you've gone to school, you can afford it. Your stepdad don't really have to pay anything. But you just want now because you control everything financially, you want to bring your dad. Is that right also? Is there no way that you can balance it such that you can say, this is my biological dad for whatever sentiments, because Islamically, nobody else can give me out. It has to be my biological father. And for that sentiment, whether it was my life or not,
Yeah.
so it has
That's
to,
what happened in that
it has to be by blood. And except he's not available, he's deadbeat, he's unconscious, someone can step in from his family side. So, and I have a stepdad.
Different story.
If he doesn't want to be part, those are some of the exceptions. And then my stepfather, who is not my biological father, is willing, is there. I can say, can both of you hold my hand? Just, can I do that?
So you've hinged on what I think is missing, one other thing missing in this situation, which is the communication. He wasn't told, it wasn't discussed, it wasn't agreed. There was a big gap. So I have other questions, like I have questions about how do you guys live your everyday life? Where did this gap come from? When did you, who didn't discover the gap on time? Because I don't think it just happened here. It's been there somewhere. Somebody was not saying something.
Yeah,
So that communication is really key. I've emceed events in Nigeria where the father who gave the bride out was not the biological father, and the biological father was right there in the room, but because I raised her, the family had agreed I would give her out. And then at the reception, many times, she will now dance with her biological father. I've had different, and they're different cultures, or no, not cultures now, different tribes. So I've seen different
Very interesting.
dynamics at play.
That's you're an MC. You've seen quite a bit.
I've seen
So,
quite, I've seen
Have you
all
seen some violet ones?
Yes, I have.
Give us some.
I have seen, I can think of one in Warri, 1 year. the two, so she was born with this woman and her, who was divorced. So this man and his wife, mother and couple, and her own husband. And so the fight was now about same things. They had agreed, that was the thing. The meetings upon meetings
was
had
communication
been had.
here.
There was communication, but on said day, some people from the father's side
That happens.
came on, and at some point, with all in all honesty, the father, biological father, didn't want all that ruckus, but his people were insisting. So what? And they all had money anyway, so it wasn't even about there was money. That I think that was like the
So even
most
though we are
violent.
agreed, but
Yes,
the African in us to say, what
Yes,
are you so
what
kind of
was
nonsense
it?
agreement?
Yeah,
I don't
don't
know.
say the African in us.
So this
And
violence,
they broke bottles, they
they
broke
beat
bottles,
themselves,
they disrupted the place for quite a bit. We weren't even sure the reception would really hold because this was service, and it was service and reception in the same area. So
Let me
the
pause you. I have a
event
call holding. Remileku, thanks for calling. You're live.
Good morning, Auntie
Good
Mariah.
morning, dear.
Good morning, ma.
Oh, can hear you clearly today. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Very clearly. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I want to share my experience.
Please.
So I'm triplet. The Yoruba call it better. I'm triplet. So we grew up to know our stepdad as our daddy. So there was a time we were sick, very sick. I think we were in GS3 then. So we were very sick, and my mom called our dad like, these children are sick. My dad said, he was in Benue. He said he's in Benue. He went for one admission for our step sister. Now that step sister is not his own biological child. The daughter is from another father. So now we were sick. We needed blood, and Mama was running around. Our stepdad had to step in, gave us blood, and all that. We were okay. So on my wedding day, my dad was rich. Was because he's late now. He was rich, so he was like, he wanted this flamboyant wedding for his daughter. Can you talk to the phone? So my mom said, you are the father now. Okokulo kunre, all those Yoruba stuff. So he said he will walk us down the aisle, this, that. So he did. So my reception, my stepfather was totally out of it. He said he's a father, let him do anything he wants to do. He was so loyal, he didn't even want to do anything. So church, we were like 15 in the church. He walked me down the aisle. We were happy, everybody was happy. So nobody knows my plan. So reception now, people will be very, very much in reception. So it's time to dance with the bride. And I told the MC, just call my stepdad. And my dad just, he was angry and he left the hall. I was like, you can't have it all. You can't do everything because you were not there. You were not always there. So this person that was there, I have to appreciate him too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well done.
So,
Well done.
yeah, so since then till he passed, everybody there on their own, but I'm so happy I felt fulfilled too.
So you compromised.
that's
So
my
thank you very
experience.
much, Romileko. So he biological walked her down the aisle. At the reception, her stepfather was going to dance with the first dance. So that's a compromise.
Might get
Which is
involved
very
here.
there are
good.
areas you can
These
make
are, these are adult decisions I'm trying to get us to do.
Yes.
But
Because
the father still didn't like it.
you didn't like it. But you see, this is where we need to go as a country, as a people, that certain things that we're used to, we need to begin to review it. Because she was able to make her independent decision, but the truth is that many people can't.
It's not cultural to dance.
No, I
In
think-
our culture, you don't dance with your father. It's not
Anyway.
You dance with your husband and go home. So she chose that one as a means to
Compensation.
copy from
Yes.
another culture and compensate. Because maybe I should hear the stepfather is loyal and an extremely understanding person. He sat through it. He did not disappear from the wedding, but the moment they do dance, the father left. Imagine that.
Imagine.
So again, I mean, let me come to you because I know I said you experienced quite a few things. My concern is also the mother. The woman is like she's the what they call it, unifier.
the
The
unifier,
woman.
the bridge.
What role do you think these women should be playing, especially to avoid these kind of issues from the beginning?
Communicate. Communicate early. Communicate clearly. Communicate in honor. You are really the bridge.
Yes.
And if you are not communicating with the children and the fathers involved, then that's a gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, in our climate, some children will never have a conversation until the adult initiates.
Yeah.
So, mommy, yes, that's your
Yes,
role.
yeah.
Yeah. And you know,
Or daddy.
yeah, I know the worrisome thing, and sometimes really troubling thing about the bridge or the unifier is the bridge may not be an honorable person. I know we like to paint our mothers as if all of them are
They are not
well
all.
behaved, they think well. There are some mothers that are looking at the situation and thinking, which will pay me more? Which will look better for me? And you see, create situations that they shouldn't have, arisen in the first place. This is the man that has always taken care of the child, but I'm not, we're not speaking now. He doesn't have the sort of money I need for the sort of wedding I want for my daughter. Let me take my daughter and go behind his back and talk to this man who's never been a part of our lives and sort of persuade him or blackmail him or, do something, intimidate him to bring out some sort of money that will make it a glamorous wedding on the day. And then you now find two fathers who didn't know what was happening, clashing with each other because the bridge did not do the proper
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
There's a message from Mr. Tijani here, which there's Yoruba in his.
The birthday Tijani? Or
Yes,
the-
no, his brother. Says there is a Yoruba adage that says, "Agba toko di omo eni." Did I get it right? Which translates to helping in a child's upbringing does not make such a child your own. This proverb conveys a valuable message about the limits of responsibility and the importance of recognizing one's own role in someone else's child's life.
Agbato ni ọmọ ẹni, àbí what did he say?
Agba toko di omo eni.
Yeah.
My
Agbato
my
di
advice
ọmọ
to
ẹni.
the stepfather is to move on and consider these actions as good deeds with his rewards coming from God.
Agbato lè di ọmọ
I
ẹni.
somewhat disagree.
No, I don't agree.
I don't agree with that.
Fully. Agbato lè di ọmọ ẹni because, they said you cannot give something when it's dead and throw something away when it's dead or when you don't value it and then claim it when it's of value. Agbato lè di ọmọ ẹni. You cannot abandon your child all their lives and tell the person that made sure they didn't die and that they are an adult now that wetin you do safe. You are at the height of ingratitude.
Yeah, I agree.
You should not even, snake better pass that person.
But
you know what they mean is, what they're trying to say is that in a case where you
You've done your
there's
best.
this snatching thing that used to happen in those days where the rich man will come to the family and say, I will take care of you, plus your children will marry
Okay.
you. So in that case, you were slighting.
You're a helper. Yeah.
You're not helping.
You were slighted because you did not have-
slighted them because the man because he
didn't have
didn't have
means.
money. So he will tell you when he's of age that my child will find me, and it's a culture that we see, what do I call it, Ibonana filial something, you know, but we call it the blood go smell, we go find you know, and those kind of things backfire.
Yeah.
But not in the case where this kind of abandonment, you did not show up, you did not do anything. I mentioned a friend that passed last year on the show, and her husband walked away, left her with 5 kids. So we did everything, and see, she didn't even wait to reap where she sowed. When she was sick, he showed up, just out of anywhere. And now he will tell the children, I will call you twice a week.
Let me take this
Wow.
call
So that he
from
can reap
Yaba.
where he didn't sow.
His
It's
name is
unfair.
Wealthy. I think Wealthy, I believe. Thanks for calling.
That's a good name.
Hello, good morning, Wealthy.
Are you wealthy?
Better
He gets that
be.
in
You better be.
Hello, I'm not sure again. You see, the reason why I want to also have this conversation, let me come to you, Joy, is because I really believe that we need to start renegotiating cultural traditions because these things are always happening. And I think it's time for us to make people take responsibility. The story she just shared, somebody abandoning your responsibility. And because you know that this is your African culture, my child will come and look for me. Nobody's coming to look for you. You did not participate in this child's life because men have that thinking that they would find me, let me just go. No, maybe then they would find you. But today, the kids are saying, we're adult, I am making an adult decision where I'm saying the man who cared for me is the man who has the right to give me away. Now, that's my thinking, but traditional and culture will still say, nah, it's giving you that pull.
Women's Day many years ago, one of these events I was emceeing, the professor who was our keynote speaker, she's a professor in gender studies and something, I think Professor Joy or something, from somewhere in Nigeria. They had the statistics to show across Africa over 3 or 4 decades that women are the custodians of culture, not men. You asked the question about the role of the woman.
Yeah.
Whatever the woman had said would happen on that day is what would have stood.
Exactly.
That's the truth. Even in our homes, no matter what your father says, your mother will find a way and make sure it suits her. They showed evidence after evidence that it is women who teach their sons and daughters what is culture, not the fathers. Fathers will say, well, this is what we did, though. The mother will say, this is what you will do in my house. So we here are the custodians of culture, actually.
So we can tweak
We are
it.
the ones
so
who will
powerful.
have the conversations with the
profound.
men and say,
Love
CO, and in our lifetime, we will see the culture change if we are able to own the truth.
I love it.
We are the
Let
custodians
me take
of
this
culture.
call from Oladele, our final caller on this. Good morning, Oladele, you're live.
Yeah, good morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning. Go ahead, please.
Oh, I think I'm happy. I'm so excited coming off to this kind of program. What I wanted to say, part of what I wanted to say, Mama Kosi has said that. Like, what about if the father was there, for the baby all this while, emotionally, love-wise and otherwise, but he doesn't have money to run the family or to take care of the daughter. That shouldn't make the father a kind of an alien or whatever you call it to the daughter. No. And I think let me quickly talk to the step parents. It's our time to know that whatever it is, that baby they are trying to fight for, like the case of that man you're talking about, it's not his baby. It's not his baby. You're just there as a stepfather. It's not your biological. You should have that thing in the back of your mind that when it comes to such a thing, you should not kill yourself for that because it's not your baby. You're just
But you can't be
there for the sake of the
living,
money.
but Oladele, you
You're
can't be
just
living
for
with
the
the
sake of the
child
money.
in your house and not regard that child as yours. You are living in the same house. So you can't say, oh, go and meet your father. There are things that as a father, you take her to the hospital, her birthday parties, you're there for her. So you're playing a fatherly
you are
role.
just
So you can't
there.
really
You're
disconnect
just there
like
for
that.
the mama's sake. That baby's not your baby.
Okay, all right,
tough to work.
that's a difficult one. We have to wrap up on this, but I think really in a nutshell, what we're trying to say really is that these are cultures that have bound us for many years, and these are things that as we're evolving, we retain culture, we keep tradition, but we modify it such that to benefit or to suit the times. The truth that there is honor in honoring, giving honor to who honor is due, and how you determine who that honor is due is you. You determine because you are the one that the entire episode, you experience that episode. So you are the only one that can determine who you believe that honor to. But in either way, I think it's really important for us to be respectful and to ensure that culture is ours to change. I really love what you said, that women, we are the custodians of culture, and we can modify it to actually suit where we are as a country. Let's go on a short break now. We'll come back, go into our interview and learn from our guests. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we have our guest here. Joy is still here with us, and we know you're a public speaker. You're an MC. You've been you've been somebody who's been proposing. Oh, I don't get the word in my head. You've been somebody who has totally tried to project public speaking done in the proper way. And I'd like to hear your story, how you came about public speaking and how you've been somebody who advocates for speaking properly, especially in public. Yeah.
Long story short, I chose what I could do easily and naturally. After school, finishing confused, like what the hell am I going to do with a degree in anatomy? I got a great job, had an official car, but I needed something more that was me. And I had been emceeing already as a hobby. And 2007, at an event, T.Y. Bello, Adeson Yenekwe, and Genevieve Naji came up to me to say, fantastic, great. In fact, Genevieve was like, my event is coming up, you have to be my MC. So right there on stage, I decided this would be my profession because these people don't know me. For them to say this to me, then you're on to something. And I just, on that same day, it was a Sunday, I said, like Tara Feladorotoye, she had started her makeup schools and she was training a lot of makeup artists. I want to be that person at some point where many MCs will say, I was able to get this far because of you.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
I just gave myself some timelines. By the time you're doing this for 5 years, you've learned what it is to run it as a business, then you start training other people. Training in public speaking happened like by chance. A friend of mine said to me, I have this training coming up and we need a facilitator in public speaking. It was the same November 2007. And she said, I just know you can do it. You're that person. Everybody comes to you for speaking tips. But, you know, things you do naturally.
Yeah.
And I did that. It was senior staff of NMPC that year. And one event just kept coming after the other until I joined Dale Carnegie officially. What I found in the workspace is that really the people who get ahead faster are those who can defend their ideas via speaking. Regardless of how intelligent you are or how much you contribute to a project, if you're not able to defend it while speaking, you are very likely to be forgotten when it's time for rewards, male or female. So if you're able to communicate your ideas and your desires in a way that you get the buy-in of decision makers, including staff and colleagues, then you are very likely to get ahead. And that's one of the reasons why I've committed to training people in public speaking, presentation skills, and of course, my forte, which is the MCs, to make money from their talent and their gifts, their skill, their refined talent on stage. And check men and women, of course, women still have a gap. We're still the ones who don't raise our hands to ask questions in a hall full of people. So I have decided to focus more on women because I've had a number of male clients, but they usually don't have a challenge. They can say any rubbish anyhow. A woman will think 100 times and still not speak. So I'm teaching confidence. I'm teaching how to speak. She would doubt and doubt. I'm teaching her how to overcome her doubts and
I love that.
how to make money while doing so.
I've never heard, I've never seen you at an event, but I'm finding you very interesting.
Thank you.
I would love to be able to listen to you or watch you. Where can I?
Yes, I'm on YouTube. I'm on YouTube.
We'll come to that. We're trying to let our viewers learn. Go ahead, Maria.
Okay, so Joyce, I have been privileged to hear you at an event, and I thought, as you know, the first people who met you, I thought you were fantastic.
Thank you.
Is also what I love is that it's your Nigerian accent, but you make our Nigerian accent sound so nice.
Yes.
I like that you do that. And beyond speaking, you're also, your intelligence shines through. And, the part where you say that women find it hard to speak up workplaces, I think we have many situations where we see women who have been sidelined at the workplace because they didn't speak up. Or when they try to speak up, the male counterparts have a way of drowning your voice. And there are tips to help a woman in the workplace to use her voice so she can, be seen and be seen, be heard, and respected, and paid for it as well.
Tip number one, believe in you first. That doubt will show up when you don't believe in yourself. The moment you start speaking and somebody hushes you, if you do not believe in yourself, you'll be quiet. I use an analogy. If you're leaving your house and you feel your outfit doesn't look okay, the moment somebody says, what happened to this stuff? Yeah, I even said it, my mind told me.
Yeah.
That's doubt. So doubt will show up. But the moment you say, look, anyhow where you be, we are carrying on. The moment somebody says, excuse me, say, hold on. My point is, because you believe in you and you believe in what you're saying. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is rapport. If people are going to listen to you and accept what you're saying, it will be better or easier if they like you. Which is where subjectivity comes in, which is where a lot of women say, no, I didn't come here to make friends. I came here to do my job. But it's people who like you that will listen to you. Because by nature, we are not objective. We are subjective until we train to be objective. So, for subjectivity reason, become friendlier. We've given it bad names. That's why many women run away. We call it ass kissing. We call it all those other things. It's not. It's rapport building. If I want to say hello to you, find out what you do outside of work, ask about your family, your children, you might just like me. If I always see,
courtesy.
it's courtesy.
Don't walk past
But some
you.
people like, abeg, which one concern me? Which one concern you? That's the reason why they might shut you down when you stand up to speak, because they're like, she's rude. Now they've called it something else. You're minding your business, but people call it, she's rude.
She's snobbish.
She's snobbish. That one who has her nose up. And because women are beautiful, we are usually the ones easier to look on. It's easier for people to point at us and say we are snobbing, because we have that grace, that carriage that comes with us just being.
That's why when you came in, you went to each one of us
Yes.
one by one, hugged
Yes,
everybody.
Yes.
The secret of the shoulder pad.
Yeah.
So to build rapport always, it's not the most important thing to be liked, but it's important if you want to get ahead. So it's okay to want to be liked, not to be subservient. That's the difference.
Yeah.
To
Okay.
want to be liked, trusted, and opened up to. Then you can make your points, and then they can understand how intelligent you are and give you
I want to
opportunity to
continue
grow.
listening. So
I'm
don't
telling
mention
you.
two.
All right, give it to, what's the third one I'll give is structure, preparation. So I've taught and I continue to teach men and women, but now, like I said, I'm focusing more on women, how to prepare. If you are not well prepared, it will show at some point. People ask, what do I do when it's impromptu? I always say there are no impromptu situations, there are only unprepared speakers. Because if you're well prepared, you will have an idea of what the possibilities will be, the blind sides. You will go beyond just preparing for one, you'll prepare for 10, and they will ask you for only 2. There are no impromptu situations. There are only unprepared speakers. So I have this tribe of women called the Money Making Mouth Tribe. Joining in is as simple as you are a woman in business, in career, you want to speak more, but now you also want to earn from it. Why? Many women are very intelligent, and you attend conferences, workshops, seminars, webinars, and your brain is picked. Because when you're done, it's thank you, goodbye, and God bless. But no money. And you might want
She
to
has
ask.
that all the time. They're constantly picking her brain.
And you might actually want to
Are you
ask,
picking my brain?
but
Since
something
you
will
go
say in
direct.
you, well, if I ask, won't I be looked upon as a bad girl? It's not just all those things we say. But that's an opportunity for what we call a stream of, what is a stream? It has come away from the river, from the sea, from the ocean, but it's still moving. That's a stream of income right there. If you're not confident enough to ask, if you don't understand the value of what is given to the other people, you're very likely to walk away again. At the conference that I would put together later in the month, women will be taught how to speak for career advancement, for career development, and for money.
Oh, fantastic. I love it. So now let me go to your MC work in a minute, because many people always feel like the reason why they don't like to do MC work is because they feel you need to be witty, you need to be comical, being an MC. And I'm not a funny person. I'm a very serious person. I can't be laughing. So what kind of skills do you need to do MC properly, would you say?
Number one, you need to understand the people in the audience.
Okay.
And if what you carry matches what they're expecting, then you'll be a good fit. So yes, there's some audiences that may not be your audience because what they're expecting might not be what you can carry. So that awareness, the ability to understand your audience and match your skills with theirs. Two, I will say the ability to build rapport quickly on the spot. Rapport doesn't have to be humorous. It just has to build goodwill. So you come into a room of absolute strangers and either you greet in their local dialect or you say something that is going on in the atmosphere. You talk about something in the, what do you
Air
call it?
conditioner or something?
Yeah, something happened and people can relate. That's rapport. It doesn't have to be a joke. You do have to be witty. You do have to be knowledgeable about goings on, especially if you're working for a particular industry at a particular industry event. You need to sound like part of the people in the room. You shouldn't be working at an oil and gas event or a finance event and you have no knowledge whatsoever about that industry. No, and that's why it's, like you said, it's a skill, it's not a talent. Talent is raw. Skill is developed over time. You've practiced, you've added value, you've added some value to it. So those will be my top 3. The ability to understand your audience and what they need. Number 2, to prepare and build rapport. And number 3, the intelligence. It's when you know something enough, you can even find a way to be light-hearted about it. You can't be light-hearted about something you don't know well. That's why some people say they're not funny. Many times I found, as I train MCs, it's not true that they're not funny. They just don't know the subject matter enough to know what to be light-hearted about. The more you know about it, the easier it is to play with
And your
knowledge.
And are there opportunities for people to learn from you just learn how to make, I know some talkatives that will do them some good if they are able to learn and make money for
That's
their
what
talking.
I call us. I call us restless talkatives. Because many of us, that's what we really are. We're the ones who were told, keep quiet, to talk too much. Your name is on every noisemaker's list. So I have trainings through the year. Find me anywhere online. Just put Joyce Daniels, it will come up all over. We have trainings from January to... And for the first time in 2024, that was the first time I trained MCs and I talked about money. Before then, I'll say, improve your craft as an MC. Now I said, train you on how to earn over 500K per event. And there were at least 16 who had never seen 500K in one place together, who would call me crying, weeping, and say, Ma, I am holding 600,000. As in, I'm dead, I've come back. Like, what did they give me this money for? Would they come back and ask me for it? Am I?
Are you kidding?
1, 2, I had people who had their first million per event. And it's like, what? Just because I've now understood how to get the money more. So I've been getting the money for myself, but I wasn't sure how to translate it. I said, okay, well, it's because you have
Transfer the
15 years
knowledge.
15 years of experience, 16 years of experience. That's why people can pay you this much. But even if it's your first year, you can still hit that. And I had a client like that last year. They hit
I
that
don't know
money.
what's happening, but my friend Yusuf Bello, as well as Maria, saying that I need you more.
Yeah, that's what Mariah was saying.
I got
He's
you.
also sent a message
To you.
to her
No.
to join our school.
So, okay, I thought they
He's
tell you that
also
you,
sent a
you need
message.
it. You need
He
her.
says I need her more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why Nima needs you. Let me report Nima to you.
Please report.
This morning, she has picked somebody up in her car just to help the person. And the person was there lamenting about her, and the person was talking issues that she had. And Nima was there giving free legal advice, not realizing that you're giving value. Oh, this you are saying.
Yeah.
You should pay, somebody should pay you for it. So she needs to know how to
Monetize
hear
this.
the issue. Don't give out the value yet. How do you prioritize that? How should she have handled that conversation where she's not giving you value, but you come back to her for value?
I could give you a very quick tip. Give enough value to solve an immediate problem.
Okay, which she did.
But remind them, which many times people know, that they need more than what you solved today. If you need, and when you need more, there is a fee attached. So say it ahead. You walk into a supermarket, there are price tags on
Have
them.
a price tag on
Have
your
a
head.
price tag very clearly put there. I know some women will struggle with price tags because it's like, where do I? So those are the things we'll now show you how to determine what price tag to put on what kind of service and for who. That should also, I should quickly add that as much as we make money, I still say there are 4 reasons to work for free. And number 4 is love. So sometimes you will find yourself in a situation where you're doing it out of pure love. It's okay. It's okay. But
No,
you
she's done
can't
that
be
for many
loving
years.
Yeah,
all
but it's
the
going for
time.
so long.
No, she has been loving for many years.
It's time to make the
Love
money.
the whole of Nigeria. She will do free work
We'll
for
ask
everybody.
you to be clear where the love is so that when the
Yes,
child
she
is
can
getting
eat.
married, they won't tell you that you cannot attend the wedding.
I hope you are hearing. Well, I mean, thank you. We have to wrap
Yeah.
up, but I know you have an event coming up very soon at the end of
Yes.
the month
Yes.
for speaking. I mean,
Yes.
lots of people are asking, so we'll send
Yes.
them the details
Yes, please.
of the. But your handle is Joyce Daniels, right? So
I
they can-
am Joyce Daniels on Instagram. Joyce Daniels
Okay.
on Google. Search it, you'll
Okay.
find my YouTube
So we can
videos.
get more details
Oh,
about,
yes, we
about
can.
your Well
Yes.
done.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Any
so
final
much.
words? I love what Wake was saying concerning I can't remember, but the police.
But you loved it.
I loved it. But yeah, but you know, you have to give us one final nugget. Let people who they said they know that they can
For
come back.
women, yeah.
That's small value. Give us more so that when you come
I
to your
always
conference.
say that for final words, there are no final words. The conversation will always continue because what you think you know today and you're a master of today, you will need to upgrade for tomorrow. What brought you here will not get you there. So
Yeah.
there are no final words. There are only upgrades.
Woo!
Okay, nice. Good to end with
We
that.
love us some Joyce Daniels.
Alright. That's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.